our first summit, our conference that we conducted, and I kept telling my friends from the health ecosystem, well, we're having an event around FemTech, and I'm like, what? What is, I'm getting these feedbacks of, what is FemTech? FinTech, you mean? And I'm like, no, FemTech, female women's health. That's what we need. It sounds like niche. Seriously? 51% of the world is a niche sector? No, dudes, you've got it wrong. And this is kind of where it started off.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. 20-Minute Leaders is a proud supporter of Make-A-Wish Israel and Tech to Peace, and is in proud collaboration with Secret Chord Ventures, J Ventures, Riverside FM, Fusion VC, Birthright Excel, J Impact, Leap, Google for Startups, and Hippo, and in media partnership with CTech. Welcome to another episode of 20-Minute Leaders. Today, I'm with Sharon Handelman-Gotlib, Healthcare and Aging Business Manager at Sompo Digital Lab TLV, as well as a leader in the Israeli FemTech community promoting women's health and Israeli FemTech ecosystems. Welcome, Sharon.
I'm really excited, especially for episodes where I get to dive into subjects that I don't normally get to discuss, and I have a feeling that feeling, or as we're going to start looking at the market of FemTech and what's been happening over the last few years with the rise, I don't know if the rise has been as good as you perhaps have liked from coming within the industry, but I'm anyways excited to learn about your own perspective, your own journey, and what's happening today. So Sharon, before we even get started about FemTech and aging, tell me a little bit about yourself and how do you perceive your role in this ecosystem?
Sure. So my day job is at Sompo Digital Lab TLV, which is part of the Sompo Holdings Corporate. Sompo is a very large, one of the largest, in fact, Japanese insurance companies based in Tokyo, the headquarters, and then operating in over 30 countries on a global basis. And the uniqueness of Sompo is the fact that they have the largest home care network in Japan. So aging and Japan is really a key focus area for them. And as part of the kind of vision of the company to define the future and to play a key contributor to the future, they've established this mission to focus on impact areas, which some of them are around my key predominant areas, which are health, aging, and the like, which is my background, basically.
Tell me about the background. So getting into the space that you're in, it doesn't sound like the most conventional space to be in, even if you're in healthcare. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just an intuition. How did you get into this space? What led this?
Are you addressing FemTech specifically or just generally speaking?
Well, FemTech, aging, deciding to go into healthcare initially even.
Sure. So I started off at leading the innovation at Maccabi's Institution of Research and Innovation, KSM, and I led there the innovation and kind of developed some cool new spaces. I tried to create a new world, the combining gaming and health is part of the COVID battle. That was my personal kind of contribution. And I love exploring new areas and new territories in the field of health, which is my focus area. This is why I wake up in the morning and what I try to do better for a better world. And then in the midst of COVID, I kind of came across a post around FemTech who wants to join the Israeli community. And then I started to explore this new ecosystem rising on a global basis, saying, wow, this seems like written all over my name, because the combination, or actually the triangle of feminism, women's health, innovation, and health, all that together is what I really believe in, trying to fight the battle of equality, support health, and support innovation. And I said, boom, this is where I'd like to focus. So I put my energy into that. A lot of my time, my kind of my private time to focus on that, to learn, to study, and to impact this this space by raising the awareness, by creating new spaces, new opportunities for entrepreneurs, for investors, and also kind of dipping my hands as well, even as part of my role, to creating new mini startups or new modules, algorithms to support women's health.
Talk to me a little bit about horizontal versus vertical depth. So when you're looking today at so I was going to say, there's just, okay, well, we're going to be able to edit this out, of course. If we're looking at the world of femtech and we're looking at your personal passion, so now we sort of like entrepreneur to entrepreneur, I'm trying to figure out your decision to what it sounds like to examine a variety of different solutions, be on a more community basis, work with a variety of entrepreneurs. Talk to me a little bit about that decision in respect to the potential of maybe diving into one very specific problem and executing on that. What is that dissonance for you, and how did you make your decision there?
Sure. So the decision was fairly easy. Understanding that we're underrepresented as women, and we've been ignored historically for so many reasons for so long, that got me kind of wired and got me saying, you know what, this is my place to be. Because when we started off and kicking off, even in Israel only, our first summit, our conference that we conducted, and I kept telling my friends from the health ecosystem, well, we're having an event around femtech, and I'm like, what? What is, I'm getting these feedbacks of, what is femtech? Fintech, you mean? And I'm like, no, femtech, female women's health. That's what we need. And then why do we need that? And it sounds like niche. Seriously? 51% of the world is a niche sector? No, dudes, you've got it wrong. And this is kind of where it started off. Understanding that there isn't enough representation for women's health issues, challenges. And even if you dive into the space, the sectors, the subsectors of femtech and see that they're focused on very particular areas and spaces, meaning that it's around cycle management, it's around pregnancy, it's around reproductive. What are we? Only a vessel, a womb to bring children?
How do you explain that, by the way? What led to these being the primary cause? I have my own hypothesis, but I'm curious to hear why you think.
Well, there are a lot of reasons. I think those are the most easier topics to discuss, and they are not taboo, and that men get more because men are the ones. It's shifting, but used to be more. I'm happy to say it's less of an issue, but it's still an issue. Are the ones in the funds, in the VCs, controlling that. So they get pregnancy, they get cycle management, they don't get menopause, they don't get endometriosis. Even the medical space and milieu don't get that, or haven't been getting that so fast up until recently. So I think the decision was to choose the ones which are more consensus, less of an issue, which makes more sense to be monetized, even though that is wrong, and I would challenge that dramatically. So I think that was mainly the reason. And also the fact that there's tremendous lack of data, gender bias, taboo, even the simple understanding for us women, we don't understand our own biology. We don't understand, or we underestimate the challenges or the symptoms that we're facing. And our makeup, or how we've been taught to live our lives, is to kind of just endure pain or endorse it and say, this is it. I can give you a simple example for that as well. Let's say a topic which is now finally being heard and being voiced louder and clear is a chronic condition called endometriosis. I won't get into what it is and what are the implications, but the fact of the matter is that 10% of women suffer from endometriosis. The diagnosis stage the way it's diagnosed and the duration of that time period is 7.5 years to diagnose the woman of being an endometriosis chronic condition patient. 7.5. I can't think of an equivalent in male kind of categories that would take so long. And the journey, a very hellish one, is the journey that was expected for a woman to go through until she's diagnosed as an endometriosis patient, which is unheard of. And even that, the way it's being diagnosed today is through surgery, which again is crazy. Years of suffering, years of pain, years of neglect with collateral damage to associate with that is just something that we cannot accept anymore. So these are kind of the examples I can give around those topics.
If we're looking at what's happening now then, with the emergence of all this information, because I think you mentioned a sentence a few minutes ago that a lot of women don't even know their own biology. I'm sure that most men don't know their own biology. I'm not sure I know my biology, but a lot of the terms that you said here, I'm sure will be new to both men and women. I'm curious, you're saying something very simple. You're saying, listen, there's 51% of the world are exposed to these potential issues. Some of them have as high as 10%, of the market is experiencing them. Obviously, this is and sorry for my French, a crap ton of money. This is any investor's dream. Is that the reaction of investors as they're now learning this? Are they sort of like big, wide open eyes and saying, yes, let's run? Is that what's happening?
It's finally getting closer to that. I think today, when we come up to investors, to VCs as FemTech entrepreneurs and new ideas, now they're getting the market and not considering it a niche. And I'll give a very great example of what you just referred to, which is fully accurate. Let's talk about menopause. Up until now, it was a topic fully ignored by women, by the medical space again, by investors. This is a huge market, $1 billion market valuation. It's every woman around the world to reach the point which she is facing menopause. And the implications of that on society, on the economics, on women's health itself are dramatic. So even if you look at that from a business perspective and understand that this is a huge market, investors are saying, wow, yeah, let's see what is there out there now. Not much, I'll say. And what we can do, yes, bring me menopause solutions, please. So that's the narrative that we're hearing today, and that's the shift, a dramatic one, which I'm happy about.
What are we expecting from your perspective? Let's be a little optimistic or not. Maybe you'll surprise me. What changes are we going to experience over the next few years that are going to shift the way we're going to experience this field, FemTech? How is this going to, infiltrate sort of the world order and change things here?
So I'll give my optimistic side of things. It will shift and it will be better for a variety of reasons. I think the first one is the fact that we're seeing it now. First of all, it's growing. And there are more women picking up their game, stepping up and claiming the space, saying, we have challenges, we have issues, we have problems, we want to solve them for ourselves. So it's not somebody else doing the job for us. It's we doing what we need to do for ourselves as women. That's one. The second thing would be the expansion of categories and topics. So it's not only the 3 categories that I mentioned before, it will be the expansion into new territories like mental health issues focused on women, migraines, which is a chronic condition more painful for women rather than men. It's three times more affecting women.
Wow. Had no idea.
Yeah. I can give you numbers, staggering numbers, I think, in any health category. Okay, you're ready for that?
Let's go.
So what would you think would be death cause number 1 for women?
Wow, I can't answer these questions. This is going on record. I'm going to be wrong on like everything. I need you to just give me the answers.
So I'll give you the answer. It's the first number 1 death cause is heart attacks, is cardiovascular events. Okay.
Okay.
But when we think of, let's say, television series around ER, right? Or The Good Doctor, and we think of a heart attack, what do you think? Give me your, what's the top symptom? What would you feel?
A heart attack, shooting pains down one of my arms. I forget which one it is.
Okay, the second one. Give me another one.
The second symptom?
No, a symptom. The most obvious one. You would probably feel chest pains, right?
Chest pain, heart pumping, chest pain, yes.
And then you'd go to the doctor, rush to the ER and say, I'm feeling
911.
chest pains, and they'll rush you through the procedures.
Right.
Well, the fact of the matter is that 40% of women don't feel chest pains when they're undergoing a heart attack.
Wow.
And their symptoms are totally different. So,
that's crazy.
If we're not having the chest pains, and if we've been taught,
I'm going to look this up later.
Look it up. It's backed up, believe me. And when you feel nauseous or kind of stress or other conditions that you feel, and you'd go to the doctor and they'd kind of dismiss you saying, nah, you're under a rough time. Maybe you're undergoing a lot of pressure at work. Go back, go relax, go rest. But the likelihood of you going through a heart attack or any kind of additional, other condition under the cardiovascular area, there's a highly likelihood, but we are being dismissed. And even going to the ER is going through a procedure of a longer waiting time, a long and undiagnosed or wrong diagnosis of what a woman would undergo, and then sent home with the wrong medication. Why is that? I can give you the story of that for another 20 minutes. I think that's a different interview altogether. So even the simple things that are not women-oriented, it doesn't talk about the ovarian or the uterus, a breast cancer. So it's a typical, I'd say, consensus chronic disease, but it's different, and we're not aware of that. Not women, not men, not the medical clinicians. It's all wrong. And this is the thing that we're going to see a dramatic shift and change in the future in the next few years. That's one example. Again, I can give you the whole portrait of how I see things, but I'm fully optimistic about them.
Your vision for yourself in the coming years, what is your role in the space? I mean, you're obviously, incredibly passionate about this whole space, extremely knowledgeable. You practice it. You are, you as a world athlete, because the things that you're doing as an athlete are world class. I mean, you're at like the top 0.1%. You are very intentional about the things that you do. So I know the passion and the motivation that you bring just from the athletic background that you briefly shared with me before we started the podcast. How are you channeling that energy towards a personal vision for what you want to do in the space?
I channel it, and I love this question because I always like to see things as I do as a non-professional athlete, let's say a marathon runner. You have to see the vision and the end game, the ultimate goal of reaching the 42, but taking it very slowly, very well planned, and accept also the hardship in the way, the challenges, the failures, if you have a bad run, but focus on what you need. And this is how I see it: planning it one step at a time, building it as a really defined marathon kind of program and plan. And that's how I see it. So expanding the networks, getting more people aware of that, bringing in the technology experts, professionals, the medical space all together with investors and kind of bringing it. So we see the circles expand and more join this mission and believe in it and see the numbers. Again, even if it's from a scientific side, if it's from an economic side, it doesn't matter. But whoever can join that and start running together to bring this into a brighter future, this is how I see it. And this is how I believe in it.
Incredible. Sharon, really awesome time. 20 minutes, not nearly enough. And you're leaving me, hanging with the whole heart attack thing. That's pretty wild. I mean, it is something that pretty much every, I'm guessing that any person would have, a similar reaction to the one that I was having, because I think that what really is the stressful part here is that this is the portrayal in mass media for so long. This is what the average person would think, and this is literally a life and death situation. This is, it's going to leave me thinking for a while, and that's exactly why I do this show. And so thank you for giving me some really interesting insights. Definitely going to be continuing this in my family's Shabbat dinner tomorrow. It's going to keep us busy. And I really appreciate your time, your energy, and the work that you're doing for this whole industry. And I am excited to continue cheering from the side. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me and being patient around FemTech Talk.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharon.